Hello and welcome back to AP Psychology. I'm Miss Lee, and in this video we're still talking about developmental psychology. This is the third section, infancy and childhood development. We have quite a few learning targets for this video. Primarily we're going to be talking about the developmental theorists, so you may want to pause and read over the next two slides so you know exactly what we'll be covering and make sure that you're staying on target. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and grab your notes and let's get started. Okay, let's first talk about physical development. We're talking about infancy here. And one of the first terms that we talk about when we think about how physical development occurs is maturation. Maturation is the biological growth process. It's uninfluenced by experience. This usually happens in a very predictable sequence of motor development, and it tends to be rather universal. Sometimes the timing is just a little bit off depending on social norms, but usually a baby will roll over before they crawl, they'll crawl before they walk before they run. And again, the timing can be very individualistic to the infant that we're talking about, but also sometimes societal norms can influence this sequence timing just a little bit. So usually a baby will roll over independently at about 3 months.
Oh goodness. Oh. Good job, you. Good.
The next step is usually sitting unaccompanied, and this happens around 6 months.
Weston. Weston.
I want to take you a picture.
I'm doing a video right now.
You know what? Jack?
Okay, can we just talk about that face right there? How cute. The next stage is usually crawling or creeping or scooting in the example that you're going to see here. All of these are considered well within normal behaviors at this developmental stage.
Will, stay there. Willie.
Will, come back. Oh, that must be that. That's Weston.
You want to get down here?
Mom, I'm going to jump on the couch.
A child will usually begin to walk around the 12-month mark.
I don't know.
Here. Show me where they go. Where's the battery? You don't know where the big boy.
And they are usually walking independently / running independently by about 15 months. Okay, so let's now talk about cognitive development. One of our big theorists in this section is Jean Piaget. He believed that children moved from stage to stage as they matured and were exposed to relevant types of experiences. So not just the maturation process kind of biologically, but also environmentally as they're more and more exposed to their world, their environment. Believing that development occurs in stages derives from the discontinuous understanding of development. So this is a stage theory rather than a continual theory. Discontinuous equals development involving distinct and separate stages with different kinds of behavior and milestones occurring in each stage. Each stage has a beginning and an end. There are very distinct milestones that are measurable in these stages. Continuous development is a little bit different. Development is considered to be an incremental process that involves gradual and ongoing changes throughout the lifespan. So you may not be able to measure them directly from day to day, but you see the changes over time. One of his concepts was that of a schema. And you may remember schema from Unit 5. Schemas are mental molds that we pour our experiences into, and we kind of make that information fit. They're a list of what characteristics allow us to know what makes an object fit in a concept versus another concept. So you know that both of these animals are animals based on what we know about these figures. So how do we actually form schemas and the concepts around them? As children experience new things, they shape their schemas in one of two ways. Either through assimilation, where we interpret new information within the terms of an existing schema. So we are fitting new stuff into an old concept, an old mold, if you will. So the animal in this example is a zebra. The zebra is enough like a horse that the child would assimilate a zebra into the same category as they do a horse, or through accommodation. So you've got assimilation and accommodation. Accommodation is when you adapt existing schemas to incorporate new information. So you basically make a new mold because the new information no longer fits what you have as an existing concept. So in this example, the child would understand that a zebra is different enough from a horse that they have to build a new idea around that animal. Here's another example. Let's say you see an SUV for the first time. What will you do if you assimilate this new information? I want you to think about that for a second. If you are assimilating it into an existing concept of what you already know, you've never seen an SUV before, you're trying to kind of categorize that thing in your mind. How is that different from if you accommodate the new information? It's quite different. Let's watch a quick video and see an example of that very process.
Schemas are categories or the basic structures we use to organize information. They're almost like folders. In this case, the categories are about vehicles, cars, and trucks. Information is sorted into these schemas or concepts. Each new piece of information has to have somewhere to go, a folder to fit into. When new information can fit into one of the schemas that has already been created, like cars or trucks, it is placed there. This is called assimilation. Sometimes we come across new information that does not fit into any of the already existing schemas. An Escalade isn't a car or a truck. That means a new folder or schema has to be created so this information has a place, like SUVs. This process is called accommodation. The Escalade now has a folder to fit into, a schema it belongs to. Now new information can continue to be sorted into schemas using assimilation. And the process continues.
Piaget also had a theory of cognitive development: sensory motor, preoperational, concrete operational, and formal operational. So let's talk about each one of these and some examples. Okay, so sensory motor stage usually happens between birth and up to about 2 years of age. And a child in this stage is going to experience the world through their 5 senses. So think senses, sensory motor. So they are getting experience through looking, hearing, touching, putting things in their mouth, and grasping things. The second part of that word is motor. So they're also learning to motor around. They're learning how to get around. They're learning how to crawl, scoot, walk, run during this stage. They also develop this thing called object permanence around 9 months. And this is when we now know that objects and people exist even if they're out of sight. So if somebody walks out of the room, they don't think that they've just poofed out of existence. You can play peekaboo with them. This is a really fun developmental stage with children. Let's watch an example of this father playing with his child using the concept of object permanence.
Here, action. Would you like it? We're doing human development science experiment. Would you like a cucumber? How good's your memory? The cucumber's here. Where did it go? Where'd the cucumber go? Where'd the cucumber go? Okay, we're just gonna, I know. It's not a trick question. Where's the cucumber? It's interesting. Did you get distracted or did you? That's not, that's not the cucumber. That's disgusting. That coconut was disgusting when I ate it. Where'd the cucumber go? It disappeared. Is it under here? Is it under here? Or is it out of your ear? Oh? Under here. Where'd the cucumber go? Where'd the cucumber go? Okay. Is it under here? Hey, oh, okay, we're gonna focus here, focus. Is it under here? Or is it out of your ear? Okay, now we're just gonna put this one with the other one. Okay, where'd the cucumber go? That's the outside of the coconut. Okay. Is it here? Do you want this cucumber? Do you want this cucumber? Okay. Oh, here. Is it under here? Where'd the cucumber go?
They don't know until they're like 2.
No, this is horrifying. Okay, dude, look at me. The cucumbers are under here. They're right here. Okay, where are the cucumbers? Okay, this is going in the science of the journal. Marion, I'm going to be published in the neuroscience. Oh, where's the cucumber? Oh, no, here. Oh, it's here. Under here. Look at the cucumbers. They're here. The cucumbers are here. Where'd they go? Maybe it's because you don't know how your hands work. Like this. Ah! Oh, I'm sorry. Here, cucumber. You want this? Yeah, here. Taste it. It's under here. Take it. You got to get it. You got to earn your cucumber.
In this household, we earn our cucumbers.
Dude, where's the cucumber? That's not cucumber. That's disgusting coconut skin.
What is he doing?
The problem was we were not going about it with positive reinforcement. Right. Hello, I'm Barney. You want this? Do you want this cute? Oh yeah.
Bring your dinner. Go sit.
Drop it. Boom. Where is it?
Liv, go take this.
Where is the cucumber? Why the cucumber?
Liv, come here. Go take this to the table and go eat. Come on.
Okay, dude.
No, Marion brought chicken now.
You want
here.
the cucumber? Yeah.
Take
No,
this.
I want it right here
This with your
and
chicken.
get the cucumber.
There's chicken.
Man, this is science. This is science gone right. Look. Okay, look.
He has no idea. He
Do you
can't
want
know.
this? You want this? Yeah. Taste. Oh, you want this? Okay, it's right here. And now I covered it. Where is it?
It stopped existing. The minute you covered it, it stopped existing.
Okay, dude. Oh, here. It's there. It's there. Nope. It's gone. Where'd it go? I just broke the I just broke the coconut. I decapitated the coconut. Now
Try now.
We have no more cucumber.
No, there's one right here.
Okay. Oh, give me one. Okay. Oh, that's got guacamole on it. No one's. You want this? Here. Find it.
This is how you test permanence. The theory of permanence. Oh, if there's a hole in the coconut.
Okay. Look, that was straight. First of all, this is all science. What a beautiful break that was.
Yeah, that was really good.
Okay, the next stage, according to Piaget, is preoperational, and this happens between the ages of 2 and 7. At this stage, children develop language and symbolic thinking. So now they can play pretend, they have really kind of grasped language, and they can communicate with other children, with adults. Piaget concluded that preschool children are egocentric. This concept means that they cannot perceive things from another person's point of view. It does not mean that they are selfish. This is not the definition that we tend to think of as being egocentric. It simply means that, for example, an egocentric child playing hide and go seek may just hide their face against the wall because if he can't see you, then you can't see him. It's basically the inability to take on someone else's perspective. Also, during this stage, children lack the concept of conservation, and conservation is the knowledge that the quantity can remain the same even if the shape or other properties change. So they don't quite have these concepts down regarding matter and quantity. So, for example, a 4-year-old doesn't understand that 8 ounces of liquid in a short, wide glass is the same as 8 ounces in a tall, skinny glass, even if they watch the person pour the liquid in. Let's see an example.
And then we're going to pour another half a cup for the other cup. And then we're going to pour it in another cup.
It's so pretty. Which one has more?
Which one has more?
Which cup has more juice, honey? Which one? Will you pick it up? That one has more juice?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
The next stage is concrete operational, and this is between the ages of 7 and 12. At this stage, children develop the ability to think in a more logical manner. At this stage, they master the idea of conservation, so they've got that down, and they no longer are egocentric, yet items are still presented very simply and in a very hands-on manner. Children in this stage are also able to transform mathematical functions. So, for example, if 4 plus 8 equals 12, then transformation of 12 minus 4 equals 8 is also readily doable. The next stage is formal operational, and this is basically 12 and up. If you look at the different stages and their corresponding ages, you're talking about little babies, preschoolers, children who are of school age, and then adolescents. At the formal operational stage, children usually are able to show abstract reasoning. They can approach problems systematically, they can rule out possibilities along the way. And it's thought that this stage emerges during the teenage years. Recent research has shown that not everyone fully masters this stage. Some research has shown that approximately 60% of adults reach this stage. And that means that 40% don't. Okay, so we're going to move from cognitive development to social development. The first concept I want you to grasp is stranger anxiety. This is the fear of strangers, and it develops around about 8 months. This is the age at which infants form schemas for familiar faces and cannot assimilate a new face. This is not the same thing as stranger danger. Stranger danger is something that we teach kids to not go with someone that they don't know. Stranger anxiety pretty much happens across the board to some degree. Some children experience it much more vividly than others, but it's a very different concept than stranger danger. So let's talk about how a child becomes attached. Attachment is the positive emotional bond that develops between a child and a particular individual. We're going to see a funny example of an animal imprinting, and it's way less complex than attachment in humans. Don't confuse the two terms. Imprinting is not something that happens in humans, no matter what the movies will tell you. I'm looking at you, Twilight. Imprinting only happens in animals, and it happens during what's considered a critical period. So this is a period where basically the animal, when they see someone or something, another animal, they imprint on them and form this instant, very strong bond. So we'll watch this example of imprinting.
He absolutely has to follow her everywhere she goes. He always has to be up under her when they're outside. Some have described it like he's on a remote control, like he's being battery operated. Pippi really doesn't mind her little shadow. She's totally fine with it. Pippin's just his little protector.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Harry Harlow and his research. In this research, Harry Harlow took infant monkeys away from their biological mothers at birth, and he gave the baby monkeys two different options. One was a wire mother, quote. It was built to kind of resemble a mother, and it provided milk. They also had the choice of a cloth mother that was warm. It was usually covered in some type of kind of a fuzzy material like terry cloth, like towels, and it was warm, but it didn't have any milk. The baby monkey spent most of their time clinging to the cloth monkey and went occasionally to the wire monkey to nurse. And what this demonstrated was that attachment is more about comfort than just being able to get sustenance. So as we're watching this clip, I want you to consider what were the results of Harlow's research, where did the monkey spend most of its time, and what does this tell us about attachment?
Food or security? Which is motherhood's stronger appeal? Alongside a warm, familiar mother of cloth is a stark wire doll set up as nothing more than a feeding machine. The young monkey is placed deliberately on a cloth mother which has no milk to nourish him, but fulfills some fundamental needs. This experiment revolves around one simple question. Will the infant monkey switch his affection to a wire mother which offers food and life itself? Only when forced by hunger does he loosen his grip and begin to yield to nature's most powerful internal drive. From the wire mother, he derives one thing: nourishment. No warmth, no comfort, no feeling of security. After feeding, he returns to spend up to 22 hours a day near the only mother he knows. From this inanimate object, the infant derives all the security and mother love he needs. He can, if also exposed early to other young, grow into a normal, well-adjusted adult.
Okay, the implications of Harlow's research. The idea from this research was then transferred to humans, that human attachment grows through the responsiveness of the infant's caregivers to the signals the babies provide. So crying, smiling, reaching, that type of thing. And basically, the more the caregiver responds, the more secure the attachment becomes. A secure attachment is characterized by relaxed and attentive caregiving, and it becomes the backbone of secure attachment. In Harlow's research, the study showed that monkeys experience great anxiety if their terry cloth mother was removed, and this led to an insecure attachment. Okay, the next theorist we're going to talk about is Mary Ainsworth and the strange situation. The strange situation is a test to measure the level of attachment that a mother and child can demonstrate when they enter an unfamiliar room. The mother basically lets the child explore while she sits down, and then an adult stranger enters as the mother leaves. The mother returns a short while later with the stranger leaving. So let's see what happens.
In 1969, American psychologist Mary Ainsworth gave developmental psychology a new procedure for studying attachment in infants. She called it the strange situation classification, and it's widely referred to as simply the strange situation. As an adult, you know when you've formed an attachment with someone, you know how it feels, and you know how to express your feelings in words. However, when it comes to babies and young children, they haven't yet developed these skills, and therefore researchers must turn to more subtle techniques, such as the strange situation, which measures the security of an attachment in 1 to 2-year-olds. A 20-minute participatory observation, during which the researcher observes the infant's behavioral responses to a series of scenarios. Ainsworth's strange situation includes 8 stages, each lasting roughly 3 minutes. To start with, the mother, baby, and researcher are all together in the room, a small, neutrally coloured space with some toys for the baby to play with. The experimenter leaves after around a minute, and the mother and baby are alone for approximately 3 minutes. In this stage, researchers are watching to see whether the child is confident to explore the new environment, or whether she stays close to the mother. A stranger joins the mother and baby in the room. The researchers record the baby's response to this unfamiliar newcomer, who is left alone with the baby when the mother leaves the room. At this stage, the researchers are observing the baby's behavior for signs of separation anxiety. 3 minutes later, the mother returns, and the researchers observe for the baby's reunion response. The stranger leaves the room. A few minutes more, and the mother leaves the room too, leaving the baby alone for the first time in the experiment. The next person to enter the room is the stranger. And finally, after 3 minutes, the mother returns and the stranger leaves. All in all, a perfectly strange situation for all involved. So, what were the researchers measuring? When the mother was in the room with the baby, they scored the infant's behavior on 4 measures: proximity and contact seeking, contact maintaining, avoidance of proximity and contact, and resistance to contact and comforting. The baby's exploratory behaviors were also recorded as she explored the environment. Ainsworth reported that infants display one of 3 attachment types. Securely attached infants showed distress when separated from their mother, were avoidant of the stranger when alone, but friendly in the presence of their mother, and were happy when the mother returned from outside the room. 70% of children studied fell into this category. 15% of children demonstrated an ambivalent attachment with their mother. These children showed intense distress when the mother left the room, and demonstrated a significant fear of the stranger. When the mother returned to the room, ambivalent children approached the mother but rejected contact. Ainsworth reported that a final 15% had an avoidant attachment style. Such infants show no interest when the mother leaves the room and play happily with the stranger. When the mother returns, avoidant children barely seem to notice. In 1990, Main and Solomon added that a very small percentage were inconsistent in their behaviors and defined this attachment style as disorganized. Ainsworth's caregiver sensitivity hypothesis suggests that differences in infants' attachment styles are dependent on the mother's behavior towards the baby during a critical period of development.
Okay, again, just a recap of Ainsworth's findings. She found that securely attached children use their mother as a home base. They explore the room, but they will occasionally go seek her out. They will go return to her, and when she leaves, they show distress. When she comes back, they go straight to her. This is roughly 60% of the kids that were studied. She also found that insecurely attached children react in a few different ways. You have avoidant, and these kids don't cry when mom leaves and avoid her when she returns. And you have an ambivalent. These kids display anxiety when mom is in the room. They're upset when she leaves, but when she returns, they may go to her while at the same time hitting or kicking her. So they're basically punishing her for having left in the first place. And ironically, the thing that upset them so much was her leaving. Her coming back doesn't fix the situation. We're going to watch some examples of the types of attachment that we're seeing, and I want you to ask yourselves, what's the key moment in the research? And keep in mind, it's not about if the child cries or not, it's about how they respond when the mom returns. What indicates if a child is ambivalent or avoidant? So watch closely.
This experiment, which I watched through a two-way mirror, is designed to gauge how secure is the crucial relationship between mother and child.
Okay, this bunny is going to go here, and that bunny will be on top.
The value of the test has been established in studies that would watch a child, 1-year-old, and then follow it up and interview them about their relationships to their parents when they were 21 years old. So we're quite confident in the long-term significance of this relationship.
After several minutes' play, the mother is signaled to leave the room.
Sweetie, I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay? I'll get you back in 1 minute.
Sitting for you. Shame, I feel. But she'll survive. The key moment in the experiment is the child's reaction to her mother's return.
The important clue is whether the baby's able to become calmed down by the contact with the mother, get back to play. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes. But you see, when the mother was out, she was only interested in the mother, no interest in the toys. Now she has a contact with the mother, she's beginning to show a little interest in the environment, and shortly she'll be right back with the toys where we started.
So you would call this a secure one?
Yes, yes.
It's certainly much happier.
Goes to the door following her. Now, we sent the mother right back in, but the point here is not to distress the baby. We're just trying to challenge it. The baby puts her hands to her face in a sad expression, puts her face down. When she picks her up, she keeps her head down, her arms out, and then she sits in the chair holding the baby. The baby's still sullen. He's low-keyed.
So you would call this insecure
yes,
attachment?
Insecure. He's avoidant. He's not engaging her, and it's not the reunion's not effective. And it's important to remember here that the thing that upset him was her absence. Her return should be the solution to his problem. Now this is another pattern that we see in babies who are not good at using their mother as a secure base at home. This baby is also insecure. But you'll see, we got a look at his play before the separation. Mother's left. And when she returns, she picks him up. He can't calm down. He's still upset. She offers a toy to amuse him or to comfort him or to distract him, and he slaps it away. She offers another. He slaps it away. He's angry. We call these babies resistant or ambivalent because they both want her back and yet can't use the contact. We think that the difficulty is that in the past, when he sought comfort, she's been inconsistent as to whether she's available and responsive or not.
Okay, so let's sum up Ainsworth's findings. Children who are securely attached tend to be more socially and emotionally well-adjusted and are seen as more cooperative, capable, and playful. Yet children who lack a secure attachment do not always have difficulties later in life. Attachment style is related to the social environment in which the children are raised. Okay, the last thing that we're going to cover in this video are parenting styles as explained by the research of Diana Baumrind. So here are some parenting styles. We'll go through each of the four. There's authoritarian. Parents are rigid, they're punitive, and demand unquestioning obedience from children. They have very strict standards, and they discourage expressions of disagreement. Children tend to be unsociable, unfriendly, and withdrawn in these cases. So this is a very strict, almost militant type parenting. There's no flexibility. It's my way or the highway. A permissive parent is going to be more relaxed or sometimes inconsistent. They don't give a lot of direction and they're really nice, but they don't tend to require very much of their children. These children tend to be immature, moody, dependent, and have low self-control. Then you have the authoritative. This is more of a democratic parenting style. Parents who are authoritative are firm. They set limits and goals for their children, but they explain and use reasoning to set those limits. A lot of times the children have some role in making the decisions and setting goals. They also encourage the children's independence. Children from parents who use an authoritative parenting style tend to be very likable, self-reliant, independent, and cooperative. And then lastly, we have the uninvolved parent. These parents show little interest in children and they are emotionally detached. They view parenting as nothing more than providing food, clothing, and shelter for their children. And in the most extreme cases, uninvolved parents are guilty of neglect, and neglect is a form of child abuse. Children who come from uninvolved parents can feel unloved and emotionally detached. And that's it for the development of infants and children. In our next video, we'll be talking about adolescent development. I can't wait to see you then. Bye for now.